Thank you very much, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. But she may want to pass this on to the Minister of Infrastructure. That's because on February 17th, when I asked him about the lawsuit from Windstream, he said this, and I quote, "The member opposite is assuming that the case has been lost. When the case has been determined, I'd be happy to answer the premise of his question." Well, Speaker, the case has now been lost and the outcome determined, and the taxpayers will be on the hook for at least $28 million. Windstream further claims that their $500 million contract is still valid, and there's still another $653 million lawsuit outstanding from Mesa Power. So I'll ask the same question again. We know the cancelled gas plants cost $1.1 billion. Will the Premier admit that taxpayers may be on the hook for billions more because of her additional seat-saving Liberal energy fiasco?
Thank you. Seated, please.
Minister of Energy.
Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very pleased to rise and answer my honourable colleague's question. And I think it's very important, Mr. Speaker, to say that Ontario is carefully reviewing the decision, and we understand that Canada is doing the same in order to determine next steps, Mr. Speaker. So let's reiterate. We were advised last week of the Tribunal's decision. The Tribunal dismissed the majority of claims, with the final $25 million award being significantly less than up to the $568 million in damages sought by Windstream. And Mr. Speaker, the decision to place a moratorium on offshore wind is one our government still believes is correct, and that's why we're going to continue to take a cautious approach to offshore wind, Mr. Speaker, which includes finalizing research to make sure that we are protective of both human health and the environment, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Well, the PC party maintained there would never be offshore wind in the Great Lakes, and if they'd have made that decision, you wouldn't be in the courts. Once again, the Liberals irresponsibly tried to save seats in Scarborough and Kingston, and the taxpayers are left with the bill. And when the final cost is eventually revealed, it is always much worse. Remember when cancelling the gas plants was only going to cost $40 million, Speaker? And then there's Trillium Wind Power Corp, a lawsuit that is ongoing because the government once again deleted emails and destroyed evidence. That lawsuit, as a result of Liberals playing politics, is for $2.25 billion. Speaker, we now know that the cancelled gas plants cost over $1 billion. Will the Premier admit that the Ontario taxpayers could be on the hook for billions more because of your energy mismanagement?
Dodge, deny, delete.
Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And again, I'll reiterate, Ontario is carefully reviewing the decision, and we're working with the Canadian government in doing the same to determine our next steps. But as the member from the opposition mentioned, Mr. Speaker, that they would have never invested in renewables. Exactly that, Mr. Speaker. They would invest in coal. PC pro-coal party, Mr. Speaker. We eliminated coal. We've done the heavy lifting on this side, Mr. Speaker, and we are very proud of that record. And we will continue to look at ways to actually save our ratepayers' money, Mr. Speaker. We did that by suspending the LRP2, Mr. Speaker, and this is something that this party doesn't have, Mr. Speaker, is a plan on energy. They have no idea, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.